Today's top stories at NBR are interest rate hikes on the way, the Aucklanders stirring a milk revolution, Fidelity Life to buy Westpac's local life insurance business, and there's more coming right up. Kia ora and welcome to NBR Today, a wrap of the day's top business stories from the authority in New Zealand business news since 1970, nbr.co.nz. It's Tuesday, July the 6th. I'm Paul Brennan. Thanks so much for watching. A Tauranga Twitter user sued by a high-profile Australian businessman for alleged defamation is not a journalist and can't claim protection for a senior capital markets informant, the Australian Federal Court has ruled. Alan Davison, a self-styled citizen journalist, operates the Stock Swami Twitter account, offering news, gossip and a cynical and cranky take on ASX-listed companies and market participants. Mining investor Tolga Kumova, a former AFR Young Rich lister, is suing Davison in the Australian court for a series of tweets made on the Stock Swami profile between September 2019 and June 2020, which Kumova says accused him of insider trading, misleading the stock market, and involvement in pump and dump schemes. A sharp improvement in business confidence and demand over the June quarter has economists firming on their expectations of higher interest rates. ASB Bank expects the Reserve Bank of New Zealand to start lifting the official cash rate from November. Kiwi Bank also predicts higher inflation and interest rates. The ASB's Nick Tuffley cited acute labour shortages and huge cost pressures, with businesses working hard to recoup their costs and boost their margins. Aucklander Jamie Wilson is stirring a milk revolution, plant milks, a market valued at $76 million, with Plant Projects. His company Plant Projects has just launched a coffee specially blended to go with plant milks in response to demand from cafes and customers. He joined the NBR's Nicholas Shepherd.
Plant milk is the biggest growth segment in coffee, so to speak, so we're just sort of talking to that growth. And we created a coffee, a low acidity coffee, which actually isn't new, but just around matching the milk, which often the current coffee sold around New Zealand is a high acidity, so it really blends well, and that's kind of what we launched, talking to that vegan segment and the plant milk drinker, so to speak.
Plant Projects, Jamie Wilson there. The chief executive of the country's largest locally owned life insurer says it's focused on its immediate opportunities after raising $140 million from a new shareholder to buy Westpac's local life insurance business. Earlier today, Fidelity Life said it would buy the Australian-owned bank's New Zealand life insurance arm for $400 million. The majority of that would be funded by the NZ Super Fund and new investor Ngai Tahu Holdings, which has taken a 24.9% stake in the business for $140 million. The Super Fund stake will increase to 46% from 41% upon completion. The remainder of the deal would be funded by further equity investments from an existing smaller shareholder, Fidelity Chief Executive Melissa Cantil told NBR. A new legislative framework for a consumer data right, which allows consumers to securely share data that is held about them, has been welcomed by local fintechs, though with a warning about Australia's experience. The government's newly announced framework is the basis of what would be required to create an open banking platform in New Zealand. Minister of Commerce and Consumer Affairs David Clark said the CDR will be aligned with the Australian model introduced in 2019 while ensuring that the settings are appropriate for New Zealand. The full details of those stories and more are at nbr.co.nz right now. Tomorrow at NBR, dairy farmer worker border exemption talks drag on, and Dita DeBoni looks at the long time in the making woes of the hospitality sector. I'm Paul Brennan. I look forward to being with you again tomorrow around lunchtime for the morning's NBR trending stories. Then same time, same place, right here from 5:30 tomorrow for another NBR Today.